She's only been in retirement now for about half a year, but she's still very, very much a part of tennis. Martina Navratilova said she's still playing great, could still be out there. But I asked her about what retirement's like. Bjorn Borg, when he quit tennis, he could never hang around tournaments, you know. But then there's guys like Nastase who do it and still love it. How do you feel showing up at tournaments and not being in it?
Well, it's been 6 months since I've retired, and I've basically been to about 3 or 4 tournaments. You know, I don't think I'm the type of person that, I'm not going to hang around tournaments week in and week out because, you know, I have other things to do that will be better for me and more fun for me. But I sort of think it's good therapy to show up at tournaments. I mean, here I'm going to watch Jennifer. Some of the tournaments I'll be commentating, so I have to be there anyway. But, you know, I think it's good medicine for me. You know, I think it would be really terrible if you play tennis your whole career as long as I did and you dreaded going near tennis anymore, dreaded seeing other young, you know, superstars coming up and getting a lot of credit and getting a lot of publicity. I think that wouldn't be too good for me to do that.
How much have you rethought your retirement?
You know, I think about it once in a while. But, Mary, you know, I realized last year that it's very hard for me to put together a great tournament. It's hard for me to put together 4 or 5 great matches to the standard that I'd like to play in a row. And I'm still good for that one odd match, but, you know, it's mentally, I have no more in reserve.
Are you going to approach your commentary the same way you approach the way you play tennis? How do you see yourself going about this?
You mean playing it safe? Conservative? I'll be at the baseline. You know? It's interesting because I saw a quote that you said that, you know, you hope that I'm candid, or you think that I'll be good if I'm candid, and I think you're right when you say that, because, you know, I have to be, I'm going to try to be fair, and I'm going to try to be honest, and I'm going to try to be candid. But basically, you know, I'm diplomatic by nature anyway. You know, I'm not going to have some outrageous statements, but it'll be interesting for me to see if a good friend like Martina plays Steffi Graf, for instance, and, you know, I think that I will be fair, and I don't think that I'll be prejudiced, and I'm really looking forward to it.
That Saturday Night Live thing you did was, I mean, a riot, I thought. Are you going to be more nervous talking about tennis than you are doing something like that?
Well, I'm really exposing myself, you know, so to speak. I mean, it's one thing to go out there and play tennis, and it's another thing to be to do something like Saturday Night Live, where I'm not an actor, so whatever happens, people are still going to think, isn't it great that she did it? But when I go up and speak about tennis and articulate my thoughts, and you know, I think people are going to be very critical, and so that makes it even more of a challenge for me.
Well, we can only welcome Chris Evert to the fold. I, for one, will be very fascinated to hear what she has to say about the game. She knows these players so well, mentally and emotionally and physically, that it will be interesting to hear what she says about women's tennis. The game, of course, takes the loss of a star badly, and Chris is a star. That's why it's so important that we have players out there like the #3 seed Monica Seles, like the brand new Jennifer Capriati to come in, because the game, after all, does need stars, and Chris was a big one to lose. But it's nice to still have her hanging around. The sun is out. There's going to be tennis awfully soon, so